Hai and Assalamualaikum to our Madam Fazira. My name is Nurul Nansiha binti Rosli. I am from BA2645E. Today, I will be presenting my review of the article, A Key to Dealing with Setbacks and Failures in Negotiation, written by Kwam Christian and published in Forbes 2025. This article caught my attention because it challenges a common mindset that the idea failure represents weakness. Instead, it reframes failure as a strategic opportunity for personal and organizational growth in the context of negotiation. The summary of this article, which is Kwam Christian, discusses insights shared by Dr. Joshua West from Harvard, who emphasizes transforming negotiation failures into moments of reflection and learning. West's framework, adapted from his book Getting Back to the Table, shows that setbacks are not endpoints but checkpoints for growth. Christian illustrates this through a simple yet meaningful story about his son Kai, who corrected a mistake calmly without feeling shame or embarrassment. This shows how children can separate a mistake from their self-worth, a skill adults often lose as they grow older due to learned fear of failure. This article also explores the concept of psychological safety developed by Harvard's Amy Edmondson, which refers to an environment where individuals can admit mistakes without fear of blame. Christian and Weiss highlight that organizations must separate responsibility from guilt to encourage a real learning and innovation. Finally, Christian concludes that failure is inevitable in negotiation, but what defines great negotiators is their ability to reflect, adapt, and recover, turning each setback into a valuable lesson for future success. Next, for the critical analysis, from my point of view, Christian's argument is really eye-opening because it changes from the way we usually look at negotiation. Instead of thinking about negotiation as a competition of a power or persuasion, he shifts the focus toward self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and maturity when dealing with setbacks. Based on this article, I have three main reflections that connect well with what we have learned in the HRM 668. The first, negotiation failure as emotional intelligence in action. I agree with the Christian that how we react to failure how often decides whether we learn or stay stuck. This relates closely to emotional intelligence, especially the ability to regulate our emotions during conflict. A practical example that came to my mind is Malaysia Airlines post-crisis negotiations with its unions. Instead of blaming staff or becoming defensive, the management responded with empathy and transparency, which helped rebuild trust. This shows how emotional intelligence can shift the direction of a negotiation, particularly when things have already gone wrong. Second is psychological safety as a foundation for better negotiation. Christian's point about removing shame reminded me of Amy Edmondson's concept of psychological safety. Both emphasize that people can only learn from mistakes when they don't feel judged. One example is Intel Malaysia's after-action reviews, where the goal is to understand what went wrong rather than blame anyone. This type of safe environment encourages honesty and reflections, and it prevents teams from repeating the same mistakes. It shows how psychological safety can completely change the learning process after a negotiation setback. Third, reframing failure through a growth mindset and cultural context. When Christian's message also aligns with the growth mindset idea, where challenges are seen as opportunities to improve. Negotiation isn't about being perfect, it's about learning from each attempt. We can see this shift in Japan, where many keiretsu companies are slowly moving away from the loss of face culture and treating failures as learning points. In Malaysia, as example, Talent Corp is promoting similar thinking by encouraging leaders to reflect on setbacks instead of hiding them. Overall, I strongly agree with Kristen's perspective, but I also believe that learning from failure shouldn't fall only on individuals. Organizations should build systems and cultures that support this mindset so that the improvement becomes a shared responsibility, not something negotiators have to figure out alone. Next, for the recommendations, the first is start normalizing conversations about failure. This is when Kristen highlights that even expert negotiators struggle to talk about their failures because they feel embarrassed or ashamed. This reminded me of how in the HRM 668, we learned that avoiding conflict or avoiding uncomfortable conversations often makes problems worse. So my first suggestion is for negotiation teams to intentionally create spaces where they can talk openly about failed negotiations, not to blame anyone, but to understand what actually happened. If leaders share their own mistakes, the way Kristen described, it sets a tone that failure is a learning tool, not something to hide. Second is build psychological safety so people feel safe admitting mistakes. When Kristen's discussion, supported by Amy Edmondson's idea of psychological safety, emphasizes that people cannot learn if they feel judged. In HRM 668, we often talk about how emotions influence negotiations behavior, and this fits perfectly. People shut down when they feel afraid of being blamed. A simple recommendation is for leaders to respond to errors with curiosity instead of criticism. Kristen's comparison between adults and his son Kai shows that when shame is removed, people can reflect more honestly. Creating this kind of environment helps negotiators can stay open to environment. Third, by teaching negotiators how to manage emotional reactions during setbacks. This is when Kristen's article repeatedly shows that it's not the failure itself that causes problems, it's the emotional reaction. Adults tend to take failure personally, while Kai simply acknowledged the mistake and corrected it. This connects directly to the HRM 668 discussions also about emotional intelligence. So my third recommendation is for organizations to provide emotional management training by helping negotiators pause before reacting, understand their triggers, and separate the mistakes from their identity. These skills setbacks become manageable even instead of overwhelming. For conclusion, a key to dealing with setbacks and failures in negotiation offers a powerful reminder that negotiation success isn't defined by perfection, it's defined by the ability to learn, adapt, and grow. The article ties closely with the core principles of HRM 668, especially in managing emotions, building trust, and creating psychological safety in the negotiation.